We're gonna make the AI so hard that after today's masterclass in HOI4 skills, you will be so good that you might even quit the game of boredom.
Or you will go down the multiplayer route, spending thousands of hours and wasting all your precious youth to still become only a mid-player and just to be beat by a 14-year-old Mr. Hermann Goering Femboy 14 who has over 10,000 hours in the game.
Well, anyway, today you can put your skills to the test. Not really, you're just watching me play. First, we're obviously gonna use expertai, check off impossible mode, which is already gonna make the AI busted by giving them insane buffs to industry, attrition reduction, and make them use tank and air that actually does something. And then, through some sneaky business, we are going to... So at day 1, the Soviets and Allies already have hundreds of factories and max infrastructure, while we are starting as basic vanilla Germany.
What's up with that vanilla face?
You might have noticed that I didn't build anything in France or Poland, because that would just make life easier for us by getting all their factories later. But here's the rules. No meme strats and no space marines. We are doing this purely historical, but the only way we can win is through pure meta skills and min-maxing. We're gonna set up our tech like this in the beginning, so we can juggle that extra 30 days into getting engineering faster, which is gonna get us more research speed. So our main goal is to start researching construction too, before the 4-year plan focus finishes, because we want to use those bonuses on later technologies. So we're going to start off with Rhineland, because it times up perfectly, and we also want that extra PP to take free trade as early as possible.
It's cool, but even cooler is human urine.
This is how we're going to set up our production, just delete everything that isn't here. We're going to start building civs, but only in these tiles, because they have high infrastructure, which makes building faster, but we don't want to build any in these tiles, because at a later focus we're going to get max infrastructure in these, so the slots would just be wasted. Okay, now that our 30 days is filling up, the way to tech juggle is to pick the research you're researching, switch it to something else. We're going to go with the basic armor protection, because we need it anyway, and we're going to choose the standardized production, MIO, because it is the best one because of all of the production buffs. And then you're going to take the empty slot and put the research you want to juggle into that, and voila, we have extra 30 days. Now that Rhineland has finished, we do have the PP to take free trade, which is going to give us very good research and construction speed. But then we're going to wait on picking a new focus, because we want the construction to be at 88 days, so it finishes before we finish 4-year plan. We're also going to juggle the empty spot we get from the research speed technology, so we get construction earlier, 30 days as well. You do get extra PP from running no focus, so that's also not that horrible for us. We're also going to make a 1 battalion division, so we can spam this out, because the more units you have on field, that means the more volunteers you can send. And we want to send a lot of volunteers to Spain. And it's 88 days, we can pick a 4-year plan now. The empty slot is filled now, we can juggle the 30 days into construction. We now have enough PP to take our first advisor. We cannot take Goebbels because it's going to give us war support, and we need 50 war support to take war economy. Plus it's going to give us daily fascism, which is going to increase our stability. It's also going to increase our bonuses. We're going to juggle this as much as we can without wasting any days into basic machine tools. Now that basic machine tools is done, we're going to put the radio for the next technology and leave the empty slot again to juggle. Construction is finished. We are going to juggle the basic machine tools and start researching dispersed industry 1. And construction 2. We're gonna early deploy all divisions, so we have enough of them once the civil war starts. The 4-year plan has finished. We just go down this whole right side to get more industry. Next advisor is gonna be the civilian industry guy. He's gonna give us good construction speed. At this point, we're just waiting for the Spanish civil war to start. So we do want to send max volunteers to Spain, plus air volunteers. We want to send our motorized and our tanks, because we do want to grind our tank generals. We're going to put our 200 bombers here on logistics and strategic strikes, because that's going to give us the most XP. Also, what a lot of people don't know is that the higher your efficiency cap is, the higher your efficiency growth is as well, because the way that the efficiency growth is calculated depends on the gap between your cap and your current efficiency. So basically, your efficiency grows faster, the more room there is to grow. Okay, our Volunteers are in Spain. We want to start grinding our tank general. We want to pick Sepp Dietrich because it doesn't have any existing traits. And if you don't have any existing traits, you grind your traits much faster. So the way you grind is you gotta get each trait almost to the max and then stop grinding it. Because if you accidentally get a trait, you can't grind other ones anymore because it's just gonna be so slow. So the way you do this is like you manipulating your unit composition so you don't get the traits you don't want and only attacking in tiles you do want. Traits we need are cavalry, panzer, organizer, hill fighter, mountaineer, and adaptable. And once all those are done, we're gonna make this dude into a field marshal and start grinding another general. So by the end of it, we have a field marshal and a general with all these traits. This actually is called double adaptable because you have both of those adaptables, which is actually banned in a lot of games of how broken it is. An extra tip about grinding generals is that you get less XP the longer a battle goes on. So it's a bit more efficient to like stop and start battles consistently. But now, it's grinding time. We take war economy. Okay, now that our research is done, we're gonna use our bonus on level 3 machine tools, but we don't wanna use our bonus on dispersed industry 2 yet. So the way you get past this, pick something that also has that bonus, which is this synthetic research. So we're gonna start researching that, and now we can research dispersed industry 2 without using the bonus. And once we start researching that, we just cancel the other research and we still have the bonus. Keep in mind you have to be paused while doing this, which means you can't do this in multiplayer unless you oopsie doopsie, which we do not condone. We're going to take bold attack. These also used to be good, but they got nerfed, so we're not taking them right now. We're gonna use our PP to take industrial concern. Keep in mind, industrial concern affects the whole industry tab, not just small gaps or columns here. We are getting all our traits on this general finished. So now we make this student into a field marshal and put another general, which is gonna be Maximilian von Weiss, because he also doesn't have any traits. For the field marshal, we are gonna take logistics wizard. We're also gonna start building more divisions because we do need equipment and manpower fielded to take Anschluss as a focus. But next up, we're gonna take Rise Autobahn, which is gonna give us the max infrastructure to start building in those good tiles. We do not want the Danish agreement because it's gonna take away our civs by consumer goods. Rise Autobahn has finished, so now we can stop building civs in our bad tiles and start building them in the good tiles. We're also gonna take Anschluss now. Next up, we are gonna take the army XP guy because XP is good for getting doctrines, which are very important. We are going mobile warfare because we can't really push with infantry in this mod with these cheats, so we want to build our tanks as OP as possible. We're gonna start researching the tank chassis now. Japanese-China war has started, so we're gonna send more volunteers there too, but this time we're just gonna grind infantry leader for our infantry generals. Not much else because anything else is kinda annoying. Anschluss is done. We're gonna take the air reformer for air XP now. We wanna start building our spy agency because we wanna create a collaboration government in France, which is gonna give us a lot more factories and no resistance from them. So at this point, this is what the Soviets look like, and this is what we look like. They are building a lot of air, so I do think we're not gonna have green air. Oh, we got localized recruitment centers, so we're gonna recruit one from France. Local agents are always better, which is why we're doing it. Start building an intel network in France so we can make the collaboration governments. We're gonna start doing the Man Sudetenland. Tank is finished, we can do the other tank. At this time we have the bonus because we did do the treaty with the USSR. Again, for the tank MIO, always choose the production efficiency ones. Start researching artillery so we do get the good gun for our tanks. We do want to use a medium cannon, I think, because at this mod and these factories, I think the AI is going to build a lot more tanks. If the AI didn't have any tanks, a howitzer would be better, because the heart attack of a cannon would just be wasted. Sudetenland is ours. Now we continue. Now's a good time to start researching construction again. And Czechoslovakia will soon be ours. I have made a grave mistake. I forgot that you lose your civilian industry guy from the Sudetenland focus and not the Czechoslovakia focus. So we have been building too many civs right now. We need to go over to start building mills, and we do need the war industrialist guy now because we don't have any bonuses on our construction speed right now from an advisor. This is truly my bad. You should actually want to take the war industrialist as soon as Sudetenland is over and start building mills. But it should be fine. Well, oh no, my spreadsheet test build 5 factor is missing. I have to restart whole game. Oh no. You always want to set up Slovakia as a puppet state because you do get a lot more compliance in those annexed Czechoslovakian areas, and compliance is amazing for everything. Basically, you get more factories, you get more resources, you don't have to deal with resistance. It seems like the Soviets are building a lot of tanks now. So it's good we're going for the medium cannon and not the howitzer. This is gonna be our tank design. It's pretty optimal for this situation. You always wanna take riveted armor for these kind of tanks because it's not worth it, the production or the resources to go higher. You don't wanna go any ticks on armor. In AI, you don't need the breakthrough, you don't need the armor. Against AI, it's always better to just use a tank destroyer with high armor, because the way armor is calculated in a division in vanilla is that 40% of your armor comes from the highest value battalion in the unit. So you just make one GIGABUFF tank destroyer with piercing and high armor and chuck that in there. For those that don't know, reliability only matters for attrition. It doesn't affect your battles, it doesn't affect your equipment loss. It only matters how many tanks you lose, how much equipment you lose when you're attritioning or in low supply areas. So if you play your supply right, reliability doesn't matter at all. But we do still want to keep it around like 50, 60, 70, because mistakes do happen and you can't always have good supply. But reliability for side tanks, support tanks, like flame tanks, don't matter at all, because you produce so much of it, they're so cheap, it doesn't matter for those kind of things. It only matters for your main tanks. This is how our production is looking right now. We're gonna add a lot more tanks now. We got our next chassis, so this is our new tank design. We want to keep throwing in updated equipment, especially radio. Again, we want the speed to be over 8 or 8 because that's the speed of motorized, and we don't want our tanks slowing down our divisions. This is going to be our beginner tank template. You want to keep your tanks 30 or 35 width, because that's the most optimal. We are starting to buy too much resources, so we are going to go on limited exports, so we free up more of our civs. I'm also going to design a tank destroyer where we just try to stack as much hard attack and piercing as we want. We're still going to use riveted armor, but we are going to stack up the armor ticks. Once again, a glimpse into the situation. This is the Soviets, and this is us. They are building a lot of air, a lot of tanks. At this point, we should just abandon air, go full roach. I don't think it's possible to win the air war or even contest it. So it should probably just build more anti-air, put more anti-air in divisions. Researching this for flame tanks. Once we have our flame tanks, this is how we're going to design it. With flame tanks, you really have two options. You can go put in field drums and make it as cheap as possible, or you're going to try to stack as much breakthrough as possible. We are going to try to stack as much breakthrough as possible in this case, but it really doesn't matter that much. Again, you want to keep an eye on the speed, because any equipment you have, any tanks you have that are below the speed of 8 are going to slow your division down. We're going to put 4 on flame tanks. We do have 94 factories building our main tanks right now. Also put the flame tank support company in our divisions now. So at this point, we're just heavy focusing on tanks, getting better equipment, getting more tanks, try to create as many tank divisions as possible with some supporting infantry. We're not going to push with our infantry because we just don't have the manpower. In this mod with this cheats, we're going to run out of manpower before we do anything. So we just can't push with infantry. Our whole plan has to be just encircling with tanks and just cleaning it up all like that, pushing for supply points so we don't lose supply, because with tanks, supply is the most important thing. We are starting to get ready to attack Poland. We're setting up our troops, we got our focus, take a Molotov-Ribbentrop pact so the Soviets don't attack us while we're still too weak. A quick overview again, we have so many factories, they have that many factories. I am going to try to get one collaboration government takeoff in Poland, because it is going to help us a lot with the resistance that Poland has. It's going to build us more compliance, and more compliance means less resistance. And even though it's only 1939, we have managed to get over 300 factories just by playing optimally. And here we go! War has started, and now we're gonna use our tanks. Now that Poland has capitulated, we do have to set up a garrison order. I'm gonna go with civilian oversight. It's basically a spectrum of, do you want compliance or do you want to squash the resistance now? With civilian oversight, you're going for the long game where you grow compliance, which also lowers resistance, but it's a lot slower. Now we're gonna do the Benelux. Again, snaking through with the tanks, just getting the victory points, capitulating early. That's all we want. Boom. Now with Belgium, we really do want to send up our tanks so we can encircle a lot, because we're also going into France. So it's really important to set up everything correctly here and micro everything correctly. But we added a quick Denmark capitulation, just gonna make it into a puppet because it's easier to manage. And here we go. We really do want to quickly encircle them and push as far in as we can, because otherwise this is gonna be a huge slog, because it is expert AI, they have gun-fed infantry, it is a good defensive line, so we really need to like create as much space as we can. So we're gonna go in deep with our tanks and try to protect it as much as possible. That's Brussels gone, and we are gonna get a capitulation soon. Everything's going along nicely. The French have been caught off guard. They're mostly in the Maginot Line. We do have some empty space, so we really need to push as far as we can right now. At this point, we need to be more tactical. We can't just push through anymore. We need to start thinking about supply and stats and terrain. So I'm going to be a much more methodical here. You know, get the supply depot, build up again, get more supply, fill in the troops, and again, push the supply depot, try to encircle as much as you can, and repeat. About to encircle France. This is going to be good for us. Paris is encircled. We're soon going to have a cap. We are completely in the red with air. We have no chance to beat this here. We're just taking damage all over. Establish Vichy when we have the chance. And then once Free France capitulates, we can set up a collaboration government. What a collaboration government does is it gives you a lot more of its factories than just garrisoning and occupying it. Plus, you get a lot of very cheap trade from them, and overall it's just better. But even here with cleaning up, it's just so hard to attack, because they have this 75 attrition reduction, and it doesn't matter at all that they're encircled, because they're like level 10 forts Maginot Line. It just doesn't matter. So at this point, we're 5 hours into the game, so we do want to speed it up. We do want to consolidate all of the Balkans under us. We want Romanian oil, so we're gonna attack all the Balkan countries except for Bulgaria, help Italy clean up Greece, take Romania, take Hungary, take Yugoslavia, give Yugoslavia on land to Italy, because we're not building air, we don't need the aluminum, and we don't want to deal with the garrisoning and losing troops to that, and manpower and equipment. Manpower mostly, because we are short on manpower. Quick cap on Hungary. Start adding in mechanized to our tank division. It is going to increase our defense, it's going to increase our hardness. Overall amazing. Mechanized is so much better than motorized. Now we take care of Romania quickly. Capping Romania a bit harder. We really need to snake to those supply hubs because of all the terrain and the troops they have. Since we do have the equipment but not the manpower, we are going to start adding in anti-air and artillery to our infantry division so they can hold better, but also de-org better when someone is attacking them. Overall, we have to be trading equipment rather than manpower. Infantry coupled with doesn't matter that much. If it's in this range, it's good. Building up the intel in the Soviet Union, because collaboration governments also help you cap earlier. You need less victory points, less percentage to cap a country if you have collaboration governments in them. So creating collaboration governments in the Soviet Union is amazing. Start building up our supply in the Eastern Front. Time to attack Yugoslavia and get that thorn out of our side. Also help out Greece. I'm gonna start adding anti-air into my tank divisions, because anti-air, not only does it shoot down planes, it also decreases the debuffs you get in a battle if you don't have air superiority. We're setting up our front line in the Soviet Union, Eastern Front. We're also gonna want to set up our tanks all over the front so we can start immediately snaking and circling, getting supply depots, because in Russia the supply depots are the most important thing. Without the supply depots, our tank cannot do anything. The Soviets have like 400 to 700 factories. Pretty crazy. You don't see these numbers in vanilla. We have managed to field a good 30 tank divisions for Barbarossa, but with our collaboration governments done and our supply built up, we can start the war.
Doctor, turn off my pain inhibitors. Huh?
We are getting slogged down now all over the front. We just don't have the supply right now. It's getting really hard to push and finish up all these encirclements, but we are building 50 tanks a day, which is enough to keep up with our losses. As you can see, with collaboration governments, we don't need that high of a percentage to capitulate the Soviet Union. The Allies start annoyingly naval invading every part that we have. And at this point, although it may seem fast, this has been going on for hours. It's getting really hard to push through important choke points and get these supply depots. We're really not getting any massive victory points. Right now, it's really about going slow and steady. No, Italy, what are you doing? It has been hard, but Leningrad has fallen. But it's not over yet, because Stalingrad and Moscow are putting up a huge ton of resistance. There's no supply, it's all behind rivers. After almost another hour, we have done it. Moscow falls, and this sets up a line of dominoes where Soviet Union completely collapses. We don't even need to snake, we're just pushing with our infantry to get those last juicy victory points. And it's over. The Soviet Union falls at last. We set the Soviets up as a puppet state in the peace deal and take a lot of their factories, but at this point it just doesn't matter. We are the undisputed power in the world. No one can match us. There is no equal to us. We can do whatever we want. So at this point, I'm gonna call it quits, because there's really nothing anyone can do to us, but we just have to wait. And if we wanted to, we could spend another few hours just taking out the United Kingdom, taking out the USA, but that's just a waiting simulator. Overall, this challenge, it could have been done a lot more efficiently. We never even built air. We wasted a lot of research on air. We built like 5,000 tank destroyers, which we never even used our divisions. But if you liked what you saw, there are buttons down below to show your affection. And if you have any other challenges, any other challenge ideas that are even harder, maybe next time we just let the AI have all the technologies at the start of the game. Maybe that could be interesting. But anyway, comment your ideas down below if you have any. I'll see you next time.